Hi guys, today I want to talk about types of accounts that lawyers have. Okay, if you ever dealt with a lawyer, you probably know about a trust account. You heard that word, trust account. What is trust account? Basically, trust account is it's an account where when we get money before any work done, or if we do a real estate transaction, any business transaction, or settlement money, they go to a trust account. So this is not my money, that's your money. So it's a client's money. They go to a special account and they sit there until we need to close your deal, or we're ready to pay out for like your mortgage, or we have to pay our bill, so we send you a bill and then we take the money, or whatever needs to be done on your behalf, and we have instructions to do it with this money. That's what we do. So this is we have general trust account, a pooled account, I guess it's called, where all the clients' money go. So how do we trace that money, right? Because there's a lot of money that go through law firms, and when I looked at the amount of money I managed for the clients for my practice, I'm actually shocked. It's such a huge amount and millions of dollars, and kind of scary, but at the same time, I don't know, makes me feel good because I manage it very well. Uh, so we have a special software, like every firm I'm sure has a special software, especially big firms. They also have like this special stuff that deals only with that task, right? Tracing money, writing checks, and accepting money, all that. In my firm, I do that because right now we have me and like 5 support people I have, and I'm paranoid about all that money, so I do not trust anybody to deal with that. So my assistant can take a payment from you or go to the bank, deposit the money, but into the system it goes only through me, and I'm the one who writes the check, and end of story. Maybe later on when we grow and it's going to be much more, I will have to hire somebody to deal with that. But every month we have to do reconciliation. So for that account, we have to reconcile that how much money we received or came out of that account, and in our system and the bank, it's all matches. Okay, sometimes there could be mismatch because and it could be 1 cent, because the bank, when they scan those checks, they somehow make a mistake, so it doesn't maybe read as a 01, it may be 07 or whatever. So we have to do investigation. So I go through all my accounting for that month. I go through bank statements, and we have to have copies of each check that was cashed, because that's the requirement of the law society, because they want to see where that money went actually, and I guess to prevent stealing, because you don't want anybody writing it to yourself or something like that. So then we looked at those printouts, and sometimes it takes a while to go through once, and second I'm thinking like there's something is not much. It could be like, as I said, 1 cent, 10 cents, and then we have to correct that issue before the next month. So it's like we receive our statements by the end of this month. Let's say we have to do the reconciliation, fix the issue, and then we move into next period. So that's what we do every month, and if something is not right, so we have to fix it. So we'll have to go to the bank and say, look guys, you withdrew more money, or you made a mistake, or you didn't take enough money. It could be either way, and they will have to fix it and make a memo what that was a bank error and so on. So we also have in our report notes. Okay, the problem has to be resolved, so you can't go forward without finding a mistake. Otherwise, it's going to be the disaster. It will never match. I oftentimes, if I have issue like that, like with a bank, if they make a mistake, sometimes they do make a mistake, especially in the beginning of my career as a sole practitioner. I had a trust checks ordered through the bank, and what the bank did, they took payment for creating those trust checks from my trust account, and that was really not good, because they had to take a payment from my general business account, because trust money, it's not my money, it's my client's money. So that happened a couple times, and I decided I'm not going to do it with the bank anymore, my checks. I just order them through UPS store. So you order them there, you pay them by Visa or whatever, and end of story. Nobody's touching your trust account, and I don't have to fix it. Another issue I had at the beginning is when, and I didn't know how to reconcile it kind of in my head, is when we get mortgage funds wired to us, and instead of let's say you have a mortgage of like 500,000, but we're getting not 500,000, we're getting minus, let's say, $20, or it's 1750 for fees, and it's a fees charged by, let's say, our bank for the wire. Okay, so in reality, I have to kind of put this 500,000 to the client, because that's what they're getting from the bank, but they didn't get it because we're getting minus $20. So in my ledger, and it has to match with the bank, I always put the actual amount of money that we receive to the in the bank. So, but it's always like at the beginning when I started the account, I was all stressed out. It was many years ago. Now I'm still stressed out because there's a lot of money to handle, but luckily we have a good software that specifically is for that purpose of tracking time, tracking billings, tracking all the money and so on. So then we have also another account, restricted account. Okay, it's also trust account, but it's account that's connected with Terranet Manitoba. It's a land titles office, and whenever we submit documents to registration with a land titles office, we have to put certain amount of money to that account from trust to trust restricted. And then when we submit the button the documents go for submission to land titles office, they can withdraw money automatically from that account. Sometimes when something happens unpleasant, and that happens, like a rejection or something, right? That happens. Not very often, luckily for us, but the money will be sent to a different account there, and we have to also reconcile it and deal with that and resubmit the documents. Well, when we, let's say, made a mistake, maybe put too much money to restricted account, maybe miscalculated something, right, and put like even $1 more, doesn't matter. Like, we'll take an example. We can't leave that money there. We have to pull it back, and by the way of doing it, we have a checkbook for that account, and from restricted account we're putting back to your ledger, but in a pool trust account, and then we either return it to you, or we have to use it for, like, I don't know, to pay invoice or anything like that. So, but that money also all traceable. So, and on the restricted account, we also have to do our reconciliation every month, and for that we have to print out all the receipts that we, or like if you don't print out, I guess you can have it on a computer, that match all the withdrawals, because every receipt from land titles office has the number, and it's supposed to match to what we actually put into account and how much they took. And if everything is not matching, then we have to fix it again. So we also have a general account, and the general account is just our business account where we put payments if we did the work, and we accept the payment, so we can put money straight to that account. We don't have to put it in a trust account, and then it's just money for our company's money. And there's also could be an investment account, because I don't ever do it because I've never had it in my practice. I have to tell you, I don't want to deal with that, but maybe the time will come that I'll have to invest someone's money. It's the situation when, let's say, you have a dispute and somebody put quite a bit of money into the trust account, and it can be released, and it can be released for like at least half a year, or like 3 months, 4 months, and the rate right now is quite high, let's say. So this money can be invested, and there is interest generated on that money for that specific client, okay? And big firms do that. I'm sure the firm where I'm at right now, where my husband works, they do it all the time. But I've never done it, and I hope I don't ever have to do it, because it's extra work, and it's you have to deposit and then you have to withdraw it, and there's a certain procedure, and I've never done it and I don't want to do it. But if time comes, I'm sure I can talk to Law Society and they will advise me, guide me if they have to, or we have, I'm sure, some guidance online how to do it. Also, clients oftentimes ask me just to transfer money back to them. Well, we're not at that point with the Law Society. We cannot do that. We can accept money as an e-transfer, and we do it every day, whole day long. There is money coming in email, but we don't send it back. We have to send it to you by check or wire. So we have certain rules how we move the money. I don't like the wiring money to anybody, because to wire money we need to get a permission from the Law Society on each wire. I don't know if anything changed, but the last time I did it, it was something pre-COVID, and you have to go online with the Law Society and notify them that you're gonna wire this amount of money, and they give you permission, and then you can wire. So I like everything simple and efficient. So for me, that's not simple, efficient, and I prefer just to write you my trust check, and if needed, I can deposit to my client's account personally, or we can courier, or you can come and pick up your check. So we don't do e-transfers, wiring money, or returning money by cash. That's not happening either. So we have certain rules how it's supposed to be done. So I think that's it about the money. For the for the real estate transaction, we demand from clients to bring us money orders, and the reason is that if it's usually large sums, right? It could be 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. Very often we have 100,000. It's cash to mortgage that people bring to close their deal. So we cannot get from your check. It has to be like a bank draft. Even with a bank draft, the banks now put them on hold, which can delay the closing, right? So I can, let's say I'm meeting with you today, you bring me 100,000, and I have to send that money tomorrow to close your deal, and the bank wants to put a hold on it for like 5 days. So it's not good, because you're never gonna move into your place if I can't close the deal. So having a relationship with a branch is very important, because if I go to any other branch other than mine where they know me, they can put hold on those checks. And actually, even in my branch, when it's a new person who don't know me or my assistant, they've done it. So, and it creates a really, really bad situation for us because let's say you brought the money, I put in trust account, I send it to another lawyer to close the deal, and we had that situation, unfortunately, and that huge check bounced. Okay, so that's why we always monitor our accounts to see what's happening. But that happened. So, and we didn't know that was check that we put was on hold. So that bounced. I had to go and apologize and to another lawyer that it happened because it's not our fault, right? And we still closed the deal. We just issued a new check, and we were prepared to cover all the expenses related to that, because when you have a bounced check, we lose money and they lose money, and it's not fair for other lawyer to lose money on the account. So that happens sometimes. That's why when we go to the bank, we say no hold, like we have to make sure that this money can be used right away. So far it's been pretty good, but the people do get nervous at the bank because it's a huge amount of money. Sometimes when we even get the checks from other law firms, let's say we sold a house and it's actually could be $1 million check from another firm, bank gets nervous, and like I try to show them that it's really a big firm, or this is a transaction and we need to use this money as soon as possible to pay out the mortgage. So the management, or maybe even somebody higher who is not at the branch, they can lift that hold, considering all our history with the bank. So how many times any checks been bounced, and in my my work experience, we maybe had 3 or 4, and it was because some of them were because the bank put hold and didn't let us know, and we used that money. We attempted to use that money because we didn't know, and that's created an unpleasant situation. But then the banks usually resolve the issue when they see it's their fault, and they refund us with all the penalties that been charged and all that stuff. So that's what I do all day long, every day, moving money around, and every law firm does it. So unless you're in a business where you don't have money, exchange of money, right? Like you don't do real estate, you don't do maybe commercial transactions, then you don't have that amount of money moving around. So I find it a bit stressful, to be honest, because it's a huge responsibility. It's somebody else's money, but I always try to be very careful when I'm working with that. I'm really focused, and so far I've been blessed not to have any major mistakes or anything. One time we had a situation, it's like a story that I would just like to tell. When it was a fraud, somebody wanted pretending to buy a house. They were like dealing with a local realtor whom I know, and they wanted to hire us to do the transaction, and they would not identify themselves, and they were not in Winnipeg. They were in different. They were in Ontario, and we knew that something is strange happening with that. So like I didn't even bother dealing with these people, and all of a sudden, I get like a courier by like UPS or I don't know what it was. I can't remember, and a check for 100,000, I think. And of course, you can look at the check. It wasn't the real check. It was a something fraudulent. And I guess what they thought that they can, like once I put this check, they would demand money back, and I would have to write them my check, which would had real money, and they would get the money. So that didn't happen. I don't remember if we called the police, and it was going around. People already knew about it. So that that was unpleasant story, because if you're very busy, maybe people would put it without thinking. I don't know how it happened, but definitely we have to be very careful who we're dealing with, so from whom we're getting this money and so on. And because I guess they thought that they can just make us deposit it and then demand back and pressure us, so we don't wait till that check clears and give them the money. So luckily it turned out to be okay. I just threw away the check. Maybe it's still somewhere in the office, I don't remember, I don't think so. And so far we have been lucky not having any fraudulent transactions, or anybody trying to use us to cash their fraudulent checks. That's why we're trying to be very, very diligent. We're asking for your IDs. We are asking for the source of money, because we also have requirement to find out where is that money coming from, especially if it's a huge amount of money. We have our own rules, like real estate agents, they have their own rules to check, and the banks have the rules how they check the source of money. We do as well. So don't get offended when we ask where does this money come from. It's just our requirements. We have to ask whether it's a present. So when you getting a mortgage and you say this is a present, you got a present from somebody for some amount of money, they'll ask you to provide a letter. So, and we'll ask the same, and whether you're gonna show us that copy, maybe you'll have to show us maybe an account, or maybe you say you sold your property back home and you transferred the money, you have all that stuff. So this is not just our curiosity, this is what we have to do to make sure that we not being used in some illegal activities and so on. That's that. I hope this was very educational for you, what the accounts we have and how we deal with that. And if you have any questions, let me know. Bye-bye.